You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about something that's a little bit more about football that's going to happen on the actual field, and in this case, players that will be playing for your team eventually, right? Talking about the NFL draft. Unfortunately, the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel's scandal sucked all the air out of the room for the draft for the last 10 days. Somebody asked me, why do you keep covering that? Well, it's getting 10 times the views anything else is getting. You make videos of subjects that people are going to watch, and that is what people cared about. All right, understand that a minority of folks probably didn't care about it. Boy, a lot of people did. A lot of people did. Well, now it's finally, we're getting a little bit of a transition. Hopefully, I don't know, ESPN just dropped another Diana Rossini story late last night after they didn't cover it. Anyway, nonetheless, we got an interesting situation that has transpired, and that's with the New York Jets. The Jets had a pre-visit for draft planned with David Bailey, the defensive end pass rushing specialist out of Texas Tech. Except now they don't. They canceled this visit. And to be honest with you, I think most people believe David Bailey was the favorite to go number 2 slightly over Arvell Reese, right? A guy that, as players, let me give you sort of a 4-1-1. Reese is regarded as maybe a better all-around guy, maybe a guy with more all-around upside potential, as Jerry Jones would say. But David Bailey is more of a pure wrecking ball rusher. And I mean rusher of the passer. All right? He is coming straight to the passer, and he's really good at what he does. But he's a little bit more of a specialist. All right? Give you an idea. Down here, All-American senior year, led college football with 14.5 sacks, 19.5 tackles for loss, 3 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Nobody knows exactly what has happened here. The Jets have canceled their top 30 visit with David Bailey, Connor Hughes of SNY reports. Again, before they canceled this visit, he was considered by most to be their pick at number 2. Now, it's kind of a grenade that's been rolled into the room. It is unclear when Bailey was scheduled to visit. Pre-draft visits ended on Wednesday. Bailey is the betting favorite to be the number 2 overall pick, which belongs to the Jets. Ohio State edge rusher Arvell Reese has been favored to be drafted after Mendoza, yada, yada, yada. Okay. And by the way, in case you're wondering, Omar Cooper Jr., Chris Johnson, Cyan Sloan, and Cole Lewinsky has also been in for visits with the Jets. Okay. Bailey is the number 2 overall betting favorite. He was. Arvell Reese is now the betting favorite to be drafted number 2 overall. And this came out after the Bailey news. In fact, this came out this morning. All right. There's no suspense about who's going number 1. The suspense begins at number 2. And there was a lot of people that believed this was sort of a foregone conclusion that actually number 2 had been settled. But not anymore. At the moment, Ohio State edge rusher, Arvell Reese is the favorite to be the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Multiple sports books now have Reese in the range of minus 135 to a minus 150 favorite. Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey, who previously had been favored to go number 2, is now the underdog at plus 100 or plus 110. If you watch my channel, this channel, or Black and White Sports 2, any of the channels, I always say, watch what the betting lines are doing because you can learn a lot. As events get closer, the betting lines can tell you which way the winds are blowing. The Jets own number 2 and recently canceled a planned visit with Bailey. Reese did take a visit to the Jets facility. The shift in the odds may come from a perception that the Jets canceling the visit means they're not taking Bailey. But that's not necessarily a good read on the situation. It could just be as easily the Jets have decided they like Bailey so much that they're going to take him without a visit. I just don't. That may be the case. Why would you turn down? Look, unless it's more Jets bullshit, which is possible, more Jets leadership bullshit. Why would you turn down the chance to just spend more time with the guy you're going to invest $50 million in? Why wouldn't you do that? Take the time and spend extra time with that person. It seems like a responsible thing for an organization to do. If I was a fan of the Jets, I would want them to spend, if they're going to take Bailey, I'd want them to spend as much time with Bailey as possible. And be sure. Now, Todd McShay was saying that in the Jets organization, the one person everybody can't quite get a read on right now is Aaron Glenn and who he likes. And that there's a thought process that Darren Muji, who's the general manager, may be thinking to himself, I'm going to be around here longer than Aaron Glenn. Because you've heard me say it, I would have just fired Aaron Glenn. You fired everybody. You cleaned house across the board. Well, when you do that, just fire the coach too. Because you fired everybody but the coach. Just fire the coach too and get him out. It was a horrible season. It looked like a bad hire. And we've seen bad hires happen. Steve Wilkes and we've seen that happen. Sorry, one and done. The potential that people thought was there for coach might not be there so much, It definitely looks like of the Lions pedigree, Ben Johnson is the one, right? That came from Dan Campbell. Aaron Glenn may bounce back. Maybe they bounce back. Maybe just having any kind of competent quarterback play will allow Aaron Glenn to win more games. Justin Fields was a nightmare. Think about this. Justin Fields was so bad, you'd rather have Geno Smith. Because at least Geno can competently complete, passes to move the chains, which Justin Fields struggled to even do that. This is interesting. The thought process, you may be like, well, why isn't Arvell Reese the overwhelming number 2? Why is David Bailey? Well, David Bailey is, like I said, he's more of a edge rushing wrecking ball. And he's physically, he checks more of the physical traits on the draft boxes, right? Reese is a little bit of a hybrid. And hybrids can be great. And hybrids can also fail to ultimately find a spot that turns them into a star. In other words, he's a he's a jack of all trades, master of none. You can get caught there too. The Cardinals have selected some hybrids over the last several years, and they flopped. Tell me what you think. Is it Arvell Reese's spot now? I believe the Dallas Cowboys would love David Bailey. Texas Tech, not that far away. Cowboys have got to be. I'm actually surprised we have not seen more fire around the idea that the Cowboys would like to get up to 2 and draft Bailey. That's the because they want somebody that can rush the pass like Micah. Either one of these guys for the Cowboys, to be honest with you, they'd like to have. But, the Texas Tech thing being right down the road, I mean, it's got Jerry written all over it. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.